Yo, what's up, YouTube? Maybe I won't get live restriction on YouTube. Is there anybody out there? I am live. Here they come. Howdy, howdy. There's my YouTube folks. Yo, what's up, guys? I have been live hopping this morning, I tell you. I can tell you the lamest place to go live, TikTok. I am glass napping, or flint napping, a green fiber optic blade. And I'm going to make a dagger out of it. And right now, I am thinning up these cutting edges. And this baby's going to be razor sharp. Yeah, kryptonite. He wants to be a caveman. Ooga ooga. I break glass, chip glass, and make knife. Bro, how much is one of those? You can go to my website, arrowsniperarchery.com, and I sell them there. They see me napping, they hatin', 'cause they don't want to see their moms riding dirty. What kind of bear is best? What kind of bear? Probably a polar bear. If I had to pick one bear to be like the ultimate bear, it would have to be the polar bear. How is a black bear the best? Put a black bear up against a polar bear and see what happens. Shit, son. Be like a afternoon snack. I mean, don't get me wrong, black bears are also cool, but We're talking about the most dominant and the most vicious bear. It's got to be the polar bear. First off, they get like 11 feet tall. What's the other bear? There's another bear that's really tough, and I think he gets he's underrated. He's got the long hair. What am I thinking of? And they're like crazy. They get up in trees and go after giant beehives, and they got longer hair. Is it a sloth bear? I think the sloth. Is it the sloth bear? Because I think the sloth bear is underrated. He's tough as shit. Is it like a Russian bear? Bro, ain't no grizzly. No grizzly is going to beat a polar bear. The wiener bear? I don't know about the wiener bear. Yeah, the sloth bear. He's a badass. Definitely underrated. I mean, the brown bear's cool, okay? The brown bear's cool, but he ain't beating no polar bear. No, he would not beat a freaking polar bear. I'd put money on it. There ain't no bear that's gonna beat a polar bear. Polar bear for the win, guys. You ain't changing my mind. Imagine how thick a polar bear hide is, or has to be, in order to survive in the cold climates. The fact that they can swim in freaking 0-degree water. The fact that they kill humongous seals for lunch. And they can survive in those climates. Not to mention they're 11 feet tall. My money is on the polar bear, hands down. End of discussion. I'm not changing my mind. A silverback against a grizzly? That would actually be a good fight, I believe. Because you know the damn silverback's not going down easy, and neither is the bear. I think it would be brutal, is what I think. To be very realistic, I think that you're talking about two apex, well, they're not both predators, but two very vicious creatures with strength that we cannot even fathom. I don't think a silverback would break a grizzly bear in half. That's a little outrageous. I don't think it would be that simple. I don't think it would be that simple. You act like a silverback's just gonna pick a grizzly bear up and snap it in half. No way. Yes, this blade will go onto a handle, and then I will sell it on my website, arrowsniperarchery.com. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan of the silverback gorilla, but I just I think that a fight between a grizzly and a silverback would be a lengthy, very brutal, and a close fight. Ain't no way. There's no way that the short-faced bear would easily take a polar bear. That's absurd. I think it's safe to say that you could put almost anything up against a polar bear, and it's going to lose. Hey, if Jake Paul could get a polar bear to sign a contract where Jake Paul wins no matter what, then he would probably do it. He would probably find the oldest polar bear with the most health issues, and he would probably have to get it to sign a contract. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a killer whale, definitely. But we're talking about land creatures here. Now, here's one for you guys. What about a lion, a full-grown male lion, versus a Bengal tiger? I'm being dead serious. Bengal tiger versus a lion. Who wins? I'm seeing lots of tigers. I think so too, honestly. Bengal tigers are freaking machines. Plus, they're bigger, right? Isn't a Bengal tiger is bigger than a lion? This would kill either one of them on the end of a spear. Bro, I'll tell you what's tough is several female lions together. Or, I mean, even one singular female lion is tough as shit. This is a sharp one, like extremely sharp. Let's cut some shit with it. Bobcat or mountain lion? Mountain lion. Ow, son of a... Let's see if it'll cut anything. They see me napping. They hating. Alright, let's see. Will it cut? Fucking shredded it. Wolverine versus bear. I would say, man, that's kind of a tough one. What about a honey badger versus a, let's see, honey badger? Honey badgers are nuts. What about a honey badger versus a timber wolf? One singular timber wolf. Not a pack. Yeah, don't underestimate the honey badger. Those things do not die easily. Their skin is like an inch thick. Well, I mean, a hedgehog would be tough for a lot of different things because it has armor, basically. Quick, nimble, athletic, and they eat cobras for breakfast. Right. Silverback versus grizzly. Earlier, someone asked that, and I said that it would be a pretty close fight. Wolves are my favorite animal. Hey, me too. I like wolves a lot. I like foxes a lot. I like owls a lot. And I also like jackalopes. You've got to love jackalopes. But guys, what do you think of this blade that I crafted today? I think it would be a draw between a bear and a wolverine. Possibly, yes. What about a moose versus... a moose versus a Cape buffalo. That's a good one. A moose versus a Cape buffalo. I feel like the Cape buffalo. I don't know. Because a full-grown moose can get like 1,500 pounds. And I'm not sure about a Cape buffalo, but they're tough too. I'll say jackalope or jacko, whatever I want to say. However I want to say jackalope, jackalope, you jack off. It's a jackalope. You think a moose would beat a Cape buffalo? I think so too. Yeah, a moose can flip cars, but I believe that a Cape buffalo could probably also. Let me think of one more, and then I gotta get off here. What about? Oh, I got one. What about a bald eagle versus an osprey. A bald eagle versus an osprey. Have you seen an osprey? They got those gigantic freaking talons. And they're similar to the size of an eagle. I don't know, man. I think it would be a crazy fight. Yeah, I think that the bald eagle would win that fight. I just couldn't think of another bird other than the osprey. I guess the golden eagle. The golden eagle versus the bald eagle. True, true. They have eagle eyes. Cardinal versus bluebird. The blue jay. The blue jay. I have legit. You're not gonna believe me, but I was fishing in a creek one time, and I seen a blue jay chasing a bald eagle. I shit you not. I literally seen a blue jay chasing a bald eagle. In real life. They went right above my head. Blue jays are the bravest, craziest bird on the planet. Cut the paper. I'll be honest, paper is not a good test for flint-knapped knives because they cut with, essentially with teeth. But I do have a piece of leather. Don't blink your eyes, and you will be amazed. Mockingbird, yeah, yeah, yeah. Remember that on Dumb and Dumber? It is crazy sharp. Bald eagle versus Philippine. I'm not sure what that is, though. Is that a golden eagle? I know a golden eagle is badass. You could have used that for your Mossberg. I've got more of it. I'll tell you what makes a really cool grip. Hold on. Deer rawhide. I was thinking, because I didn't tan this. I made rawhide out of a deer that I shot. But look right here. That is where my muzzleloader ball penetrated the deer. You can see the burn marks. So I was thinking I'll take this rawhide, I'll cut a piece out, and I'll leave this on it, and I'll put it like a rawhide wrap on my muzzleloader with the hole where I killed the deer with that muzzleloader. What do you think about that? This is like nature's Kydex. You can wet this, and then you can press it on anything, and it'll take its shape, and then it's like Kydex. It's like primitive Kydex. See how it got hard? Which, that's not a very pretty job I did, but that's from a deer I shot. Hey, no problem. I'm always making stuff. Sad? What's sad? Nothing sad about it. At least I'm using a a lot of different parts of the deer that I kill. I don't know what's sad about that. A bison has a lower center of gravity, a greater mass and use, powerful horns, and the moose has weaker eyesight and less agile. Give the bison advantage in close quarters. Man, that was like a fucking like an animal documentary. Let me read that again. A bison has a lower center of gravity and a greater mass due uses powerful horns. And the moose has weaker eyesight and less agile. Give the bison the advantage in close quarters. The moose does have swagger. I've seen a video where a guy was being kind of like cornered by a gigantic moose, and dude, his eyes, you could see the intent, like to kill, in the moose eyes. Imagine you were shot and skinned alive and used to make cheese. Well, if I was shot, then I wouldn't know that I was being skinned. I don't skin deer while they're still alive. I'm not sure, like, what you've been watching on the internet, but I've never skinned an animal while it's still alive. The deer that I showed you, this is the deer's skin that I shot. So this was a 50 caliber black powder muzzleloader ball, and I hit that deer directly in the lungs and heart, and he was dead in about 15 seconds, if that. But now I got his skin. And I can make all kinds of shit out of it. I could make a drum head. I could make knife sheaths. I could make a bowstring. I could back my bows with it. And then I actually skinned him with one of my knives. How far did the deer make it? Not very far, because I watched him drop right in front of me. And we actually just had some deer burgers last night with mesquite seasoning, melted some cheese on them, and then some Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. Oh wait, you really like the leg tendons. Ah, shit. So, oh shit. So the Native Americans used what is known as sinew for hafting. So essentially, this is the rear leg tendon. If you feel the back of your ankle, there's a big tendon there, and that is the same tendon used off of the white-tailed deer, or really any animal for that matter. But what you do is you wet it and you stretch it and you tie your arrowheads on or your fletchings, and when the sinew dries, it's got a really high tensile strength, but when it dries, it's like a shrink wrap, and it holds everything in place and reinforces it. But that is deer leg tendon helping hold my arrowhead on. And real easy to harvest and use. But you basically take the tendon and you can use a stone and you kind of beat on it, and it'll start turning into these smaller strings, and then you stick that in your mouth and wet it, and then wrap it on what you want to haft, and then let it dry. Yeah, and this is what is known as sinew. Well, several. Now, if I was to, I haven't processed these yet, but once I process them, you could probably fill 4 of these cups. Let me show you. Let me start to process this and I'll show you what I mean. We might be able to, I'm just going to use my sledgehammer and my smaller hammer. It's kind of hard to get this one. There we go. And obviously the Native Americans didn't use hammers like this, but it works just the same as using a stone. And I honestly don't like to do that a lot. You can pull these apart by hand. And this is the good stuff right here. But the tensile strength of this shit is like 92,000 psi or some shit like that. It's really incredible stuff. So you can get a lot out of this one piece. And then, it's really hard to do, but you start pulling it apart. And you can see, you start getting a bunch of strands of it. Let's beat it a little more. And this just helps loosen them up, the fibers. But you can make bowstrings out of sinew as well. And it makes a really good bow backing. There we go. So now you just start pulling this apart. And you can see there's a bunch of strands in here. And I can't, this will last me a long time. And you basically just keep pulling it apart. You can do repairs on your bow with it. And if I was to add a layer of this to the back of my self bow, it would increase the draw weight by about 10 to 15 pounds. It would also make the bow stronger, shoot faster. But look at how much shit I'm getting out of that one tendon. And you seen it earlier. And people get kind of iffy about putting this stuff in your mouth. And it honestly doesn't taste like anything, really. Maybe a little bit like beef jerky. But your saliva helps activate the natural glue in the sinew, kind of like hide glue. So this is pretty much how you process it. And it'll just keep pulling apart. So we had that one tendon. We still got that big old piece that needs, but look at that. It's wild, ain't it? This shit right here, you can't really do nothing with that. It's just like a layer that was over top of the tendon. This is what you want. But like I said, whenever you wet it, it'll loosen up, it'll stretch, and then when you tie an arrowhead down and it dries, it shrinks and it really holds stuff like knife blades to handles and things like that, spearheads, atlatl darts. You just keep pulling it apart. So you can imagine once I process all this, how much sinew I'll actually have. Look at that. That's just a half of a tendon. But I'll show you how I would use it for an arrowhead. Oh, and it don't take a very big piece. Let me put this up. So, let's get my arrow. It's not going to hurt to add a layer of sinew to this arrowhead. So you just need a very tiny piece. You don't want to put like absurd amounts of this because it doesn't take a lot. Even that little piece is very strong. And I'm just going to take this and wet it in my mouth. And like I said, it tastes like nothing. You can use water. But it seems like your saliva activates the glue better. So I'm just going to take it. And wrap it around through the notches. Which I've already got sinew on this. But like I said, another layer is not going to hurt, or strand. And if you want to get those ends to set down, just put a little bit of spit on your finger. Now spin it around. And then you just let it dry. And as it dries, it'll shrink. And it'll help hold the arrowhead on. Now, there's kind of a lot of people think that the sinew's job here is to actually hold the arrowhead in the shaft, like hold it in place. But in fact, the reason that this is done is in case the glue breaks free, so you don't lose your arrowhead. So the sinew kind of will catch the arrowhead if the glue fails. Because Native Americans, not every tribe, depending on where they was at, they didn't have a lot of materials to flint knap. So they would try to preserve what they had. And yeah, the sinew does help reinforce the shaft from splitting as well. But its main purpose here in these notches is so you don't lose your arrowhead. And I'll tell you something really kind of grimy that they would do. If they wanted to be really mean, they would they would only put the sinew through one notch, okay? So if they was in battle, the ideal, if you put the sinew in only one notch, whenever you shoot and it hits somebody, it'll turn sideways inside of their body. So that would have been fucking horrible. I couldn't imagine how badly that would be. Like, how bad that would hurt. That'd be agonizing. Yeah, they also use poison. No, not a good day at all. But this is a highly, highly effective hunting point. I have no, like, I have just as much faith in this as my steel broadheads. I truly do. Yeah, I made the arrowhead. The arrow shaft is river cane. It's a type of bamboo. You can see the nodes in it. And then I use wild turkey fletchings. But this right here, guys, will shoot just as good as my carbon arrows. And I would even say that it's stronger than a carbon arrow. But I shoot these out of my self bow. I'll show you that real quick. Oh. So this is my bow. There, I zoomed out so you could see it better. This is bull snake skin. I made this bow out of Osage orange wood. And Osage, well, Osage was the most sought after bow wood by Native Americans because it's good in tension, it's good in compression. You can make the limbs very, very thin, slim. So the slimmer you can make these limbs, the faster the bow is going to be. Less mass traveling through the air. And they're just indestructible. It's truly, I've shot this bow probably 2,000 times now. And if you make them correctly and you follow the wood grain, they can last for hundreds of years. I made my grip out of a deer that I killed. That's the rawhide. Like I was saying earlier, rawhide, you wet it, and then you wrap it on there, and when it dries, it like shrinks on there. Gives a nice snug fit. Water buffalo tip overlays. Water buffalo horn. And then my string silencers are bobcat fur. This would be a recurve. Anytime when the bow is strung and the string touches the bow limb, that would be a recurve. So these are very mellow recurves. I've made much steeper recurves, but yeah, it is a recurve. And it's 66 inches long, and it's 50 pounds at my 30-inch draw length. That's beaver tail, deer, rawhide, bull snake skin. And yeah, that's my bow. But I hope you guys enjoyed the live and maybe learned something, or 50-pound draw is all I need for whitetail deer. I've made them heavier than that, but it's just pointless. Like, you get to a point where the draw weight being that heavy is pointless for whitetail deer. I've killed whitetail deer with 40-pound bows plenty of times. But I like 50. I like 50 pounds. It's a good, happy medium. But I'm going to get off here, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a great day. And I'll go live again soon.